morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second international webinar series on pharmacy at University of Muhammadiyah Kudus. The Excellency, Rector, University of Muhammadiyah Kudus, Mr. Rusnoto, Master of Epidemiology. The Honorable all speakers, Tengku Azlansa, Tengku Muhammad, University Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Professor Ching Chiung Wang, Taipei Medical University, Taiwan. Dr. Endang Setyowati, University of Muhammadiyah Kudus, Indonesia. The Honorable Vice Rector for Academic Affairs, Mrs. Nur Hidayah, Master of Health. The Honorable Vice Rector for Administration and Finance, Mr. Rizka Himawan, Master of Psychology. The Honorable Vice Rector for Student Affairs and Cooperation, Mrs. Ani Rosiana Masito, Master of Nursing, Mental Health Nurse Specialist. The Convener, Taiwan International Healthcare Training Center, Mrs. Xin Hua Kuo, and all participants. In the name of Lord, today we are gathering virtually in our second international webinar series on pharmacy at University of Muhammadiyah Kudus. Singing National Anthem of Indonesia Raya. Ladies and gentlemen, please all rise. Please sit. Reciting the Holy Quran to Miss Naili Najuri. The floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Anta
الله فلا تستعجلوه سبحانه وتعالى عما يشركون ينزل الملائكة بالروح من أمره على من يشاء من عباده أن أنذروا أنه لا إله إلا أنا فاتقون خلق السماوات والأرض بالحق تعالى عما يشركون خلق الإنسان من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين والأنعام خلقها لكم فيها دفء ومنافع ومنها تأكلون صدق الله العظيم. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Opening remark from Rector University of Muhammadiyah Kudus to Mr. Rusnoto, Master of Etymology. The floor is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Hamdan syakirin, hamdan naimin. hamdan yuafi ni'ama wa yukafi majidah. Ya Rabbana lakal hamdu kama yanbaghi li jalikal karim wa azimi sultanik. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. And good mornings for all in the webinar international. The Honorable all speakers, Tengku Aslan Syah, Tengku for Muhammadiyah M University Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. The Honorable Prof. Chin Chun Wong from Taipei Medical University, Taiwan. Dr. Endang Setiawati from University of Muhammadiyah Kudus, Indonesia. The Honorable Vice Rector for Academic Affairs, Vice Rector for Administration and Finance, Vice Rector for Student Affairs and Cooperation from University of Muhammadiyah Kudus, Indonesia. The Convener of Taipei Hospital and Taiwan International Healthcare Training Center, Ms. Asian Hua Ku. Ladies and gentlemen, firstly, let us praise be to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, the Lord of the worlds, and the school is for those who keep their duty unto Him. Fathers, there will be no hostility except against wrongdoers. Secondly, salawat and salam is sent Honorable Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, his family, all his described, and those who follow them in goodness till the day of judgment. It is very special occasion. I am pleased to welcome you to our second international webinar series on pharmacy in the title Traditional Medicine in Asia. Medicine have become a very important and powerful tool, now more than ever, in improving the health status of population and, in the long term, for reduction healthcare costs, especially during this pandemic COVID-19. Natural products constitute a key source of pharmacologically active ingredients in a variety of novel agents with therapeutic potential in a wide range of diseases, especially in this pandemic COVID-19 era. Pharmaceutical containing natural product or compound derived from natural products, scaffold or template have to undergo the same stringent approval process and drug obtained for various synthetic origin. In our attempt to use natural product for drug design is needed. Research in Indonesia on herbal medicine. Research in Indonesia show that 49 and 53% of the population over the age of 15 regularly consume herbal medicine, and 4.36% of 49 and 53% consume herbal every day. There are no less than 280,000 practitioners of traditional medicine in Indonesia. The Indonesian government is committed to developing traditional medicine. Traditional medicine, especially herbal medicine, made in Indonesia. The Indonesian Minister of Health also said that currently the department that leads is conducting scientific research in Tawangmangu, Central Java, to find medicine with traditional ingredient for disease, namely blood sugars, blood fat, blood pressure, and gout. Currently, only 4 diseases are being shown for a cure. In the future, it will be developed for other diseases. Indonesian herbal medicine almost jamu One sample of herbal medicine in our country, Indonesia, is we call jamu. Jamu has been practiced for many centuries in Indonesia community to maintain good health and to treat disease. Although modern, conventional medicine is becoming increasingly important in Indonesia. Jamu is still very popular in rural and as well as in urban areas. Based on its traditional use, jamu is being developed into the rational form of therapy by herbal practitioners and in the form of phytopharmaceuticals. Jamu has acquired a potential benefit both economically and clinically. Later on, the most frequently used plant in jamu that have also been investigated regarding their constituent and pharmacological effect. Hospital that apply herbal medicine in Indonesia, when about to 20% hospital in Indonesia apply herbal medicine. Number two is divided into 73 hospital and 573 public health care center. Example in Indonesia, Dharma S Hospital of Jakarta, Bung Karno Hospital of Surakarta, Krakatau Healthcare of Banten. There are 10 herbal medicine campaign in Indonesia. About 1,247 herbal medicine campaign are operated in Indonesia. 10 of them are: number 1, Lonia Global; number 2, Equwood Herbal Naturindo; number 3, Bio Indonesia; number 4, PT Jamu Putri Gunung Jati, Mountain Jati. The 5, Nuansa Kencana Abadi.co Ltd. The 6, Wholesaler Mitra Gina in Award. 7, Kevin & Co. 8, Idaman Walanusa. 9, Media. And 10, Beauty Cosmos Zambo. Collaboration between University Muhammadiyah of Kudus and herbal companies. The number 1, Natura Fit Sragen, Central Java. And number 2, Naturido, Yogyakarta. And number 3, Natural Yogyakarta. And 4, Holistic Biomedicine Purwakarta, Central Java. 5, Yosua Mandiri Boyolali, Central Java. And 6, and so on. Students failed practice 1 in the industrial traditional therapy and in the CV natural fit Tipunawi, Palliative Malang or IoT, Natural Yogyakarta, Holistic Biomedicine Bandung, West Java, Naturido Yogyakarta. Number 2, in the industry pharmacy, we use PET Cosme, Yakatria Karanganyar Central Java, Samparido, Marin Lisa, Palliative Malang, and 3 Clinic Herbal in Material Medica Batu, Malang, East Java, Wisata Kesehatan Jamu, Jamu Health, and KIG Natural. Student practice 2, distribution of pharmacy, PPF Marika Mitra Mustika Semarang, Central Java, and PPF Indo Global Medica Malang, PPF MPI Semarang, Central Java, PPF Laboratorium Medika Sejahtera Malang, PPF Lestari, PPF Raja Wali, PPF Jalur Rezeki, PPF PT Tirta Husada Pharma. I believe that by participating in this international webinars, we are in the right place and the right time. Together, let us accelerate the exchange of ideas and schooling up of good practice in pharmacy field, and I wish you all a very successful webinar. I declare that this conference is officially open. Thank you very much for all attention and collaboration. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Welcoming remark from Vice Rector for Administration and Finance to Mr. Rizka Himawan, Master of Psychology. The floor is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Innal hamdalillah nahmadu wa nasta'inu wa nastaghfiruh wa na'udzu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. May yahdihillahu fala mudhillalah wa may yudlil fala hadiyalah. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la syarikalah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Allahumma shalli ala Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain, amma ba'd. The Excellency Rector University of Muhammadiyah Kudus, Mr. Rosnata, Master of Epidemiology, the Honorable speakers, Professor Ching Chung Wang, Taipei Medical University, Taiwan, Teguh Azlan Shah, Tengku Muhammad, University Kuala Lumpur, ya, Dr. Apit Endang, Head of Pharmacist Program, University Muhammadiyah Kudus, the Honorable Vice Rector for Academic Affairs, Mrs. Nur Hidayah, Master of Health, the Honorable Vice Rector for Student and Comparison Affairs, Mrs. Ani Rosiana Masitoh, Magister of Nursing, Mental Health Nursing Specialist, the Convener of Taipei Hospital and Taiwan International Healthcare Training Center, and all participants. The first, praise be always to the Lord Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, who has given us so many gifts and help till we are able to participate in this international webinar today. It is a routine event held every year with other universities that have collaborated by MOU. This activity is a follow-up to the MOU agreed. This year, University of Muhammadiyah Kudus held an international webinar, which is divided into several sessions, namely, number 1, Nursing International Webinar, Part 1, June 26, 2021. Number 2, Pharmacy International Webinar today. Number 3, International Midwifery Webinar. Number 4, Nursing International Webinar Part 2. Today, there are more than 400 participants from Indonesia, Taiwan, Malaysia, Philippines, Botswana, Kyrgyzstan, India, Saint Lucia, etc. This activity held from June to August 2021. This activity is the first step so that we hope that other activities can be carried out together, like joint research, student exchange, lecturer exchange, and other academic activities. Thank you. Hopefully this webinar will be useful for all. Billahi taufiq wal hidayah, nasrun minallah wa fathun qarib. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ladies and gentlemen, now please enjoy the video profile of University of Muhammadiyah Kudus.
Universitas Muhammadiyah Kudus berada di Kota Kudus, Jawa Tengah. Bermula dari penyelenggaraan SPK, Sekolah Perawat Kesehatan tahun 1984. Kemudian di tahun 1998, SPK konversi menjadi Akademi Keperawatan Akper. Di tahun 2004, berubah bentuk menjadi Akademi Kesehatan Akes dengan penambahan Akademi Kebidanan. Lalu menjadi Sekolah Tinggi Ilmu Kesehatan Muhammadiyah Kudus, STIKES di tahun 2009. Dan pada tahun 2018, akhirnya berubah bentuk menjadi Universitas Muhammadiyah Kudus. Sebuah perjalanan panjang untuk mewujudkan universitas yang unggul, islami, berwawasan global, dan berjiwa entrepreneur.
Assalamualaikum. Selamat datang di kampus Universitas Muhammadiyah Kudus. Perkenalkan, nama aku Rizky dari S1 Hukum.
Aku Andin dari S1 Farmasi. Nah, kalian pasti udah lihat pintas dari kampus ini kan? Nah, ini kampus 1, letaknya di Jalan Ganesha 1, Purwosari Kudus. Nah, kalian juga harus tahu, Umku juga punya kampus 2-nya loh. Letaknya nggak jauh dari sini, yaitu di Perempatan Lor, Jalan Kudus, Jepara.
Di sini, kalian tidak hanya belajar untuk mengasah ilmu pada bidang masing-masing, namun juga untuk melajut masa depan yang lebih pasti.
Betul, dengan pengajaran yang profesional, berpengalaman, serta ditunjang dengan fasilitas yang lengkap, kalian gak perlu ragu lagi untuk kuliah di sini. Kak, kita bisa tahu lebih banyak lagi tentang Umku nggak, Kak? Tentu dong, yuk kita lihat-lihat ke dalam.
UMKU memiliki 3 fakultas dengan 20 program studi, yaitu Fakultas Ilmu Kesehatan, S1 Keperawatan, S1 Farmasi, D3 Keperawatan, D3 Kebidanan, Profesi Nurse, Profesi Apoteker, S1 Kebidanan, Profesi Kebidanan, S1 Administrasi Rumah Sakit, D4 Teknik Laboratorium Medis, dan S1 Gizi.
Ada juga Fakultas Ilmu Teknologi loh, yang terdiri dari S1 Matematika, S1 Ilmu Komputer, S1 Sistem Informasi, dan S1 Teknik Industri. Yang terakhir, ada Fakultas Ekonomi, Pendidikan, dan Hukum, yang terdiri dari Prodi S1 Ekonomi Syariah, S1 TGSD, S1 Akuntansi, S1 Hukum, dan S1 Bisnis Digital. Bagi kalian yang belum tahu bagaimana laboratorium penunjang untuk praktikum di setiap prodi, di UMKU memiliki laboratorium farmasi, keperawatan, kebidanan, komputer, bahasa, dan lainnya. Nah, kita sekarang berada di ruang serbaguna UMKU yang digunakan sebagai ruang pertemuan. Di sini memiliki fasilitas videotron, pengeras suara, dan ruangan yang ber-AC.
Universitas Muhammadiyah Kudus mendapatkan akreditasi dari Badan Akreditasi Nasional Perguruan Tinggi dengan predikat B.
Dalam mempersiapkan masa depan kita, UMKU menjalin kerjasama baik di dalam maupun di luar negeri. Beberapa di antaranya, University Kebangsaan Malaysia, University Kuala Lumpur, Mahsa University, Dongseol University Korea, Wusuk University Korea, College of Pharmacy Taipei Medical University, College of Nursing Taipei Medical University, National Taipei Medical University of Nursing and Health Science, dan masih banyak lagi.
Muhammadiyah Kudus berkomitmen mewujudkan lulusan yang berakhlakul kalimah Islam, berwawasan global, dan memiliki kemandirian dalam berwirausaha. UMKU Self-Oriented Islamic University. Mari bergabung bersama kami di 20 program studi di Universitas Muhammadiyah Kudus.
Prestasi mahasiswa UMKU cek.
Kami di bagian kemahasiswaan siap mensupport prestasi mahasiswa dan kegiatan kemahasiswaan di Universitas Muhammadiyah Kudus.
Kak, selain bisa mengikuti perkuliahan, di sini kita bisa berkegiatan apa lagi nih?
Bisa dong, di UMKU kalian bisa berkegiatan dalam organisasi mahasiswa, yaitu di BEM dan IMM, serta unit kegiatan mahasiswa atau UKM lainnya. Di minat olahraga contohnya, ada tapak suci putra Muhammadiyah di bulu tangkis.
Dan untuk minat kesenian, ada teater, tari, serta paduan suara. Untuk minat khusus, ada KSR, Korps Sukarela, PMI, dan Kepanduan Hizbul Waton.
Oh iya guys, UMKU sekarang telah mempersiapkan gedung baru yang modern loh, tentunya dengan fasilitas-fasilitas yang lengkap.
Untuk menjawab tantangan zaman, Universitas Muhammadiyah Kudus senantiasa meningkatkan pelayanan kepada masyarakat dan publik. Salah satu upaya adalah dengan menambahkan sarana dan prasarana yang ada. Convention Hall, Kampus 2, dan Gedung 13 lantai untuk mendukung dan mewujudkan visi misi Universitas Muhammadiyah Kudus Global Entrepreneur Islam. Join with us.
Disinilah kami merajut masa depan yang terbaik. Universitas Muhammadiyah Kudus.
Now it's time for a photo session together. I invite Rector of the University, Mr. Rusnata, and the Vice Rector. Please come to stage for a photo session. Okay. And also I invite Dr. Endang Satyawati as a speaker today to join a photo session together. And also I'd like to invite also for joining the photo session, Professor Tin Chung Wang and also Mr. Tengku Azlan Shah Tengku Muhammad to join also the photo session. Hello, sir. Hello, Professor. Okay. Okay. Now we are ready for the photo session. 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3. Okay, please open mask for a while. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We have freestyle now. Freestyle. Okay. Freestyle. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Ladies and gentlemen, those are the opening of second international webinar series on pharmacy at University of Muhammadiyah Kudus. That's all from me as master of ceremony. Let's close with saying Hamdalah. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Billahi fi sabilil haq fastabiqul khairat. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Now we come to the main agenda of second international webinar series on pharmacy at University of Muhammadiyah Kudus, entitled Traditional Medicine in Asia, Pharmacy. This will be guided by Mr. Ahmad Nur Safik, Master of Education, as moderator. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Master of Ceremony. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Innal hamdalillah nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh wa na'udzu billahi min shururi anfusina wa sayyiati a'malina may yahdihillahu fala mudhillalah wa may yudlil fala hadiyalah. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la syarikalah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu la nabiyya wa la rasula ba'da. Amma ba'd. Let's praise to our Lord Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his mercies and blessings. And also our deep gratitude please be upon to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to join the second international webinar series on pharmacy today. Now we are going to talk about traditional medicines in Asia. Ladies and gentlemen, as we know, COVID-19 pandemic has broken up all sectors in all the country, all over the world. Every single country is now trying to find the best solution and overcome and get away from this pandemic. Vaccination and medication are developed to cure this virus. And the herbal medicine is one of the alternative solutions to cure or minimize the spread out of COVID-19. In our country, Indonesia, we have jamu. So this is kind of original traditional herbal medicines. And perhaps another countries also have another name of their herbal medicine. My name is Shafiq and I'll serve as the moderator for this webinar. Before we go to the presentations, one more time, we would like to say thank you to the superintendents of Taiwan International Healthcare Training, Mrs. Sin Hua Ko, and also University Kuala Lumpur for the collaboration and support for this webinar. Today, we have three experts who will talk about this topic in a very deep today. To save our time, now let me keep in touch with the first speaker, Professor Ting Chu Wang from Taipei Medical University, Taiwan. So let me keep in touch first. Professor, good morning. Hello there.
Good morning.
Okay.
Hi.
Yeah. How are you today, Professor?
Fine. Everything is fine.
Okay. Right. So before Professor Wang deliver the presentation today, I will invite for the photo session together one more time. So now I invite the rector of the university, Mr. Rusnato, and also vice rector, please come to stage to join the photo session one more time with Professor Wang.
Okay. I must share my point PPT. Okay.
Yes, Professor. So after this, you will deliver the presentations. But before, now we have a photo session one more time as our documentation.
Do you see my PPT?
Yes, Professor. Now, but we have a photo session first before.
Okay.
Okay. So before, Professor.
Understand? Okay.
Right.
What?
Yeah. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. So this is for the formal session. Once again, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, so okay, for the second style, smile. Okay. 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 Right. So for the second style, smile. Okay, smile first. And then now using thumb. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3. And with the certificate. So now please, Professor, you may take the certificate. Okay, right. Okay, now, so we have photo with certificate. 1. Okay. Okay, 1, 2, 3. One, two, three. Okay, now, so I also invite with the pharmacy department officer to join for the photo session together. Okay. So, okay, again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay. One, two, three. Okay, smile now. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Finish? Okay, thank you very much for the session. Okay, now to save our times, so let's go for the first session, the presentation from Professor Wang. So today she will talk about the exploration of Xi Wu Tang and the simulation of policy maturation from clinical trial to pharmacological study. But before she deliver the wonderful presentations, so let me read her curriculum vitae first. Her family name is Wang, and the given name is Ting Chung, if I'm not mistaken to spell. Okay, now she is a professor, and then the department, School of Pharmacy, College of Pharmacy, Taipei Medical University. About her educational background, in 1998 to 1999, so she completed the Bachelor of Science in Pharmacy from School of Pharmacy, College of Pharmacy, Taipei Medical University. And then in 1993 to 1995, so she completed the Master Degree of Science in Pharmacy from Graduate Institute of Pharmacognosy, College of Pharmacy, Taipei Medical University. And then in 1996 to 1999, so she completed the doctoral degree of Philosophy in Pharmacy from School of Pharmacy, College of Pharmacy, Taipei Medical University. About her experiences, or we call job experiences. So she is now a director of a graduate of Institute Pharmacognosy, starting from August 2016. And also she is an assistant professor. She is a director for a professional master program in pharmaceutical and biotechnology management. She is also a vice president of College of Pharmacy, and also is the director of Industry Academy Collaboration and Incubation Operation Center. About the professional background, so she's very famous with the theory of traditional Chinese medicines, and then the phytochemistry and pharmacology in traditional Chinese medicine, and also the quality control of traditional Chinese medicine. And about the publications, there are so many publications he had done. At least he is really, really famous with the publications entitled The Effect of Tang Gu Bu Q Tan on Iron Uptakes in Iron Deficiency Anemia, Drug Design Development Therapy in 2016, and etc. So about the honor and award in 2008 and 2014, the faculty award the Taipei Medical University. Now please give applause to Professor Wang for the wonderful achievement. And also last but not least, now we go directly for the presentation to save more time. So to Professor Wang.
Thank you. I'm here.
Right. The floor is yours now, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, moderator, introduction me. Today, I'm very happy come here to share our research study. And today's topic is the exploration of Si Wu Tang on the stimulation of follicular maturation from clinical trial to pharmacological studies. Today, my topic have the three parts. First part is traditional function of Si Wu Tang, and then I will introduce about our clinical trial in Si Wu Tang. Finally, we will discussion about the herbal interaction in Si Wu Tang. The Si Wu Tang is a very famous traditional formula in traditional Chinese medicine. The formula recorded on Song Dynasty. So the name is Si Wu Tang. The mean is have the 4 herbal put together in formula. The four herbals including 当归、川穹、熟地黄 and 白芍 and 白芍. The 4 herbal also like the vegetable can to be eat. So people always use the 4 herbal put in soup as a herbal diet. Next, I want to explain the principle of the combination of the Chinese medicine principle, the ingredient in formula that has different roles, including scavenger, minister, assistant, and courier. The scavenger that provide the principal corrective action on the main syndrome. Assist minister that help us strengthen the principal corrective action. A system that treat the combined syndrome and relieve secondary syndromes. Korea is very interesting. Like the dispatcher, the career like a dispatcher that direct action to affected size. So in a design a formula from TCM, maybe we have the thinking pathway is the scavenger, minister, assistant, and the careers. And what is the combination principle of the 四物汤? We will know Dang Gui is the scavenger, like a king. He is a major worker, and then the Shou Di Huang is a minister, and he can help Dang Gui to do something. The Bai Shao and the Chuan Qiong are both the assistants. According to pharmacological function, we will know Dang Gui and Chuan Qiong are qi worker. He can increase body anguish. Shou Di Huang and Bai Shao are blood worker. He can tonify blood. According to pharmacological function, we will know Shou Di Huang, Dang Gui, Bai Shao are both blood tonifying medicine. They can tonify the blood in treating blood deficiency. Chuan Qiong is blood activation and stresses reduction medicine. It can promote the blood flow to remove blood stasis. So according to the layer pharmacological function, we will know he can increase in and arrest the conversion. So the four herbal, they own the personal function, but put together can drive the other functions. The ingredient of the 四物汤 are major have the three kind of disease. And first is blood inefficiency. Second is bleeding, and then have a pain. The three kinds of disease always cure in women, special menstruation regulative. So we are interesting. We are interesting why 四物汤 can to treat for the gynecological disease. We are according to the National Health Insurance research data in Taiwan. We can find the disorder of the menstruation and the other abnormal bleeding from female genetical trait is major application disease. Almost the 24.6%. So according to this data, we suggested the 四物汤 in clinical using maybe correlation with the menstruation irregulated. So we want to use the clinical trial to prove the 四物汤 can use in maturation irregulated. Ovarian follicular main developments in Western medicine disease corresponds to mental disorder pattern in TCM disease. So we suggested 四物汤 can improve follicular main development and be used for the mental disorder. So this is our strategy. In Taiwan, the 四物汤 clinical dosage form has two types. One is the decoction. We use the raw material to boiling and make a decoction. Second is the make from the factory, and we call it the granule, and the concentrated extracts and make a granule. So what is the clinical dosage of the 四物汤 between the decoction and the granule is our interesting point. So we created the investigation of the bioequivalency study. We invited the 20 to 35 years healthy women come here as our volunteers. We use the crossover design to do this experiment. Firstly, we use the folic acid as a standard as quality control to control the granule and the decoction quality. And then the volunteer take or drink the 四物汤, and then we analyze the pharmacokinetic parameter of the folic acid in serum. So how to preparation of the 四物汤? 四物汤, the granule we purchase from the pharmaceutical factory, and then the decoction we make by the extraction machine by ourselves. In this result, we can find the dosage we firstly according to clinical use dosage. The granule we know the in a pharmaceutical factory will give us a suggestion daily use and some information. The product's label tell us 30 gram dry herbal was made to the 15 gram granule and 18 gram per 1 day used. But the water decoction in the clinical traditional doctor tell us and teaching us 80 gram dry herbal in 3.2 liter water was made to the 340 milliliter decoction per 1 day used. So we will know the 1 day dosage is a little difference in granule. The daily dose is 18 gram, but water decoction is every day 170 milliliter. So when we design the crossover pharmacokinetic study, we have the two dosage. In the granule, we design 18 gram and 12 gram, and water decoction, we design 135 and 170 milliliter. We detected the folic acid in granule and the decoction. We will find the granule, the folic acid concentration is 440 microgram per gram in granule, and 58.5 microgram per milliliter in decoction. We will know the 80 gram, the granule equipment 135 millimeter. They has the same folic acid concentration. When the volunteer take after the folic acid we will throw the blood and detected free acid was detected in serum. We will find taking after the 10 minutes, we can see the free acid peak in the HPLC profile. You can see, and after 30 minutes will more higher than the 10 minutes. The same in granule also. After 10 minutes, 四物汤 also can detect furic acid in serum. We have the A, B, C, D group. The A group, the A, B, C, D group, they have take and drink different dosage, the granule and water decoction. But it's interesting, the B and the D group. B group is 18 gram and 170 milliliter. The two dosage is suggestion from the clinical doctor. And then the 18 gram and 135 milliliter, the dosage is the furic acid concentration equipments. So we can find the data is very complicated. So I go to the figure to explanation for you. This is very AUC curve. It's so complicated. Blue line is the granule. Red line is the water decoction. Is the same. We have 25%. I use this two figure to explanation our study. This is I tell you the 18 gram granule and 135 millimeter water decoction. They have the same concentration furic acid, but when volunteer take and drink the 四物汤 in the body, we can find the AUC. The AUC is different. The granule higher and larger than the water decoction. But if we use the clinical dosage, 80 gram, the granule 170 milliliter water decoction, the AUC is the same. So this is very interesting, the result, because the furic acid is the same concentration. When we take inside, the AUC maybe is different. It maybe is not the same. But the clinical doctor suggestion the dosage when we take inside and with the concentration will the same. So in the future, we do the pharmacodynamic study. We use the two dosage. So the strategy two can 四物汤 improve follicular male developments. We invite a lot of the volunteer come here. We selected the criteria is LH per FSH ratio must greater than 1, because the ratio greater than 1, the menstrual will disorder. So this study, we will use the penile grouping, not crossover. They just only drink or take one dosage form. And we use the dosage is the granule is the 80 gram per day, and the water decoction is 170 milliliter per day. The schedule of the clinical trial of the 四物汤 for the ovarian follicular male development woman selected criteria is LH per FSH ratio greater than 1, and LH or FSH abnormalities or abnormal sex hormone. The abnormal mean is cell cycle disorder or abnormal blood color and quality. And the grouping, we volunteer use the two group. One is the water decoction, the other is the granule. And because we just only 25% join this project, so we can randomize to separate the volunteer 13 people and 12 people. They must continue intake the 四物汤 for the 3 months. No permitted to consume other herbal or health food, including vitamin. We will assessment the serum 6 hormone, including estradiol, follicular stimulation hormone, FSH, and LH, progesterone, and testosterone. And then it's very important chemical biochemistry assessment time is very important. So we screening time and taking 四物汤 after 1 month, or if the menstrual cycle come here, the 3 to 5 days of first the menstrual cycles. This time is very important because we know the sex hormone will increase, decrease, dependence the menstrual cycles. Our result, we screening 123 people. Finally, accept this project just only 25 people. And then we randomize to grouping the 2 group. One is granule 13 people, and the water decoction group is 12 people. First time, they total complete the experiments after taking 四物汤 each month, just only 11 people. Because this is the 四物汤maybe is not a very good smell for everyone, or the 18 gram granule maybe a large. So sometimes if you didn't to very improve your syndrome, maybe you will withdraw this project. So a lot of the maybe 50% volunteer not completed this study. So we are so sad. But we believe the 11% can continue the 3 months. They maybe feel her menstrual cycle are going well. In the serum, we detected the 6 hormone. We can find LH level decrease, significant decrease. FSH not significant change. Estradiol and progesterone also no significant change. And then the testosterone have the significant decrease in water decoction group. In the granule group, not significant change, but LH and per FSH ratio, 2 group both has decreasing very, very significantly. And this data we were very exciting because we criteria inclusion criteria is LH per FSH ratio larger than the 1. So taking the 四物汤, they can very significant decrease. The mean is the clinical study is successful. Summary 2, we can find the two group person, they menstrual cycle is is not very good. They always average the 7.45 times per year, and the water decoction just only 3.85 times per year. But when they take the 四物汤, after 1 month, 9% and almost 9% have 7% can the menstrual cycle begin. The decoction group 10% have the 8% the menstrual cycle begin. The finally after the 3 months, 5%, 6% is regular maturation cycles. So we think in according to this data, we suggested 四物汤 can activate menstrual cycle through reduce the testosterone serum level and the HLH per FSH ratio. So in this stop here, I want to give the one summarize is 四物汤 can improve ovarian follicular male developments. This is the summary conclusion our study. They have the decoction and water decoction and granule have the different content the folic acid, and then the 170 milliliter equal 18 gram granule the AUC, and the pharmacodynamic evaluated, we can find through the decreased testosterone, we can improve the ovarian development. Finally, I want discussion about the herbal interaction in the formula. We will use the pharmacological studies. In this picture, we can understand when LH, FSH increase, the testosterone will increase. And then we know the estradiol will inhibit ROS production. The ROS will influence follicular development. So if the estradiol decrease, the ROS will increase the ROS, and then the follicular will be influence the development will not develop well. Inhibitor the follicular developments. So we call this syndrome is ovarian follicular male developments, correlated to menstrual disorder. So according to this mechanism, I suggested maybe antioxidation and regulated testosterone can improve menstrual disorder. So we will, according to the antioxidation and regulated testosterone experiments, to explore the interaction between herbal in this formula. This is our strategy. We firstly, 四物汤, there has the 4 herbals. There have the 4 herbals, and then we decrease without remove from the 四物汤 1 herbal, make the other formula like the group 2 without the 当归, and group 3 is without 芍药. Group 4 is without 川穹, and the group 5 is without 熟地黄. So we want to remove 1 herbal from the 四物汤 and to expose the drug interaction. And then we have this in this experiments we design the 3 parts. One is fetal chemistry analysis. Second is hormone regulation analysis. Finally, we do the antioxidant analysis. The fetal chemistry analysis, including total polyphenol, total polysaccharide, and the fluoric acid analysis. Hormone regulation, we focus on testosterone because we know 四物汤 can decrease the testosterone level in serum. So we use the testosterone stimulated the MCF7 cell, induce aromatase the models. Finally, the antioxidant, we analyze the 3 kind radical. One is DPPH radical, 2 is lipoxidation radical, 3 is H2O2 induced CHO cell peroxidation module. CHO cell is also ovarian cell or ovarian cell. Every time when we do the herbal medicine experiments, we will to quality control of the herbals. This is HPLC profile of the 四物汤 and the 四物汤 modifies formula. We can find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 group, and then 1 is the total whole 四物汤. 2 is lost one without the 当归, 3 is without the 芍药, 4 is without the 川穹, 5 is without the 熟地黄. We can find the fingerprint is different. They have like the without the 芍药 pink line. We can find the garlic acid and pioneer fluorine is disappears. And then if you lose the 川穹, the folic acid is very decreased. The level is decreased very significant decrease. So this is very important for the quality control of the material. In this, the fetal chemistry analysis, we can find the yield. The yield without the 芍药 is the largest than without the 熟地黄. The ferric acid concentration without the 熟地黄 are larger than the without the 川穹. Total polyphenol is the without the 当归 are larger than without the 芍药, and the total polysaccharide and without the 芍药 are larger than without the 熟地黄. According to the phytochemical component, in the future we can suggest which component is major drive the function. Testosterone stimulated the MCF7 induced the aromatase model. The mechanism like this. Testosterone converted to the estradiol through the active aromatase. So MCF7 is breast cancer. He rich content in the aromatase. So when we in the medium added a lot some testosterone, the MCF7, the aromatase will convert to the estradiol. So when we added the traditional medicine in the medium, we can after 1 day or 2 days, we can detect the supernatant estradiol level. We can know the aromatase, the active or be the expression or not. This is our result. We can find interesting data is a 5 group without the 四物汤 is here. The aromatase we call also can call a CYP-19 is very clearly disappear. And then we use enzazazone as a negative control. Enzazazone is a aromatase inhibitor. So we come here, look, this band is a light. So enzazazone can inhibit aromatase is in here. We can show that. So this, and then we can find group 2 and group 3 and group 4 is very significant increase. The band is darker than the control. And then we can find this the estradiol we detected the estradiol in supernatant. We can find the group 5 the estradiol not the concentration is not increased, but 1, 2, 3, 4 group all increase. And enzazazole the inhibitor, so the estradiol decrease. So this model is very clear. If the absent the 四物汤 absent the 熟地黄 the estradiol content will decrease, and the aromatase expression disappear. Next, we want to understand which herbal is the major active upregulation of aromatase. So here is 1 is 当归, 2 is 芍药, 3 is 川穹, 4 is the 熟地黄. This data is very clear. We can find the 熟地黄 is higher than the other group, and the estradiol concentration here, okay, is very significant. And then we continue to detect the substance marker, like 当归 is the ligustrin and ferulic acid, 芍药 is gallic acid and paneophorin, and 川穹 also ferulic acid, and 熟地黄 is catapole. They are major substance marker in each herbals. According to this data, we can find number 4 is here. Number 4 is here. It can to significant increase estradiol content. So according to the 2 figure, we give some conclusion. 四物汤 in 四物汤, 熟地黄 is major upregulation of aromatase herbals. And then in the herbal catapole and the polysaccharide, because the 熟地黄 rich in polysaccharide, and these 2 components can upregulate of the aromatase protein expression. And next, the experiments we want to analyze this antioxidation of the 四物汤. We created the 3 kinds of the experiments. First one is CHO cell. CHO cell is the Chinese hamster ovarian cell lines. We use the H2O to induce the oxidation. So the H2O2 will induce the ROS. So the ROS detection by the flow cytometer. Second, the model we use the DPPH radical scavenging activity. DPPH radical is very easy to detect it, just only they have the antioxidants, they can to color change purple to yellow. So we can use the ELISA reader can easy to understand the activity efficacy. Finally, we use the ovarian homogenated. We take out the ovarian and the homogenizer, use the machine homogenizer, the tissue, and then we use the BUOOH to induce the lipid oxidation, and then we added the TBA solution. We can measurements of lipid peroxidase MDA level, we can understand the TCM can increase or decrease the ROS. This is our result. First one, DPPH radical circumvention activity, 1 to 5 group, the IC50 in here, and the 1 milligram per milliliter concentration layer inhibition percentage. We can find if the 四物汤 without 芍药, the activity will lower. Will be decreased. If without the 熟地黄, the activity will be increased. So we can, according to the two data, we can suggest it. 芍药 maybe is the major worker to drive the antioxidation activity. Next, we also use the substance marker to do the same experiments. We also can find gallic acid, pentagallic glucose, and the pantofluorine, and the two gallic acid, pentagallic glucose, pantofluorine, pionol. The four markers are major from the 芍药, and then gallic acid and pentagallic glucose have the good scavenger DPPH activity. So according to the two table, we can suggest it 芍药 is the major antioxidant herbal in 四物汤, but 熟地黄 is less than the others. Finally, the final experiment is use the CHO cell to do this. We look at this, the picture is very clear. When the herbal have antioxidation, the percentage will larger, and then the peak will move to leaf, from leaf to leaf. When this is a central reference point. When the herbal have antioxidation, the peak will move to leaf, and then the percentage will increase. So this is vitamin C as a positive control, 200 microgram per milliliter. They just only the 30.77%, but 1 to 5 group almost larger than the vitamin C activity, and then the 5 group each other no significant difference. So we just only give some suggested the 四物汤 in these experiments all have the good effects, good antioxidation effects, but no significant difference. Finally, we use the ovary tissue lipid peroxidation models. We can find if the the 芍药number 3 here, the MDA lipid peroxidation inhibition is lowest, not good. So we can, according to this data, we can suggest it. The 芍药 is very important antioxidant herbal in 四物汤 again. And then you can to find the group of 5 without the 熟地黄, the antioxidation effects will increase. So the mean is 熟地黄 is less the function in antioxidation. Okay, so we totally three antioxidation experiments to confirm 芍药 is a good antioxidant herbals. Finally, this the picture is the 四物汤 in clinical study. The conclusion, we can find the 四物汤 in clinical can inhibit the LH is significant inhibitor LH level in serum and the testosterone inhibitor. And then they can stimulate the menstrual cycle regulation. So this data is finding from the clinical trial. And then in pharmacological study, we can find the 熟地黄 will increase estradiol level, prevent the ovarian. And then the 芍药 can decrease ROS, prevent the ovarian. So in here, we want to give a new suggested rules. The 熟地黄 maybe it can as the scavenger in 四物汤, and the 芍药 maybe is minister for the treatment the menstrual cycle disorder. Maybe 四物汤 is scavenger and the 芍药 is minister. Is different from the ancient book. Okay. Final, what is the mechanism and the multiple function of 四物汤 on the ovarian follicular male developments? We know the Dangui and the Chuanqiong are both the tonified blood. They major substance marker is folic acid, and then we have the other paper support this. But today I want discussion of the ovarian follicular male developments. So this data can to understand the 熟地黄 here. He rich in the polysaccharide and the catapole. The two components can active aromatase expression and let estradiol level increase. The other 芍药 rich in polyphenol, gallic acid, and penta-galloglucose. They can inhibit ROS production. So inhibit ROS production, increase estradiol concentration. They can treat use menstrual disorder pattern. So according to our study from the traditional ancient book tell us the something, and then we design the clinical trial. Finally, we use the pharmacological study to explanation the mechanism of 四物汤 each others. Today I want to show everyone the finding. According to the above result, we published the two papers. One is 2019 in evidence-based complementary medicine. Second is 2020 published in the fourth year pharmacology. If you have interesting, you can to print out the two papers to continue read it. Today, I'm very happy come here to share our study. I'm come from the graduate Taipei Medical University. I major work in the Graduate Institute of Pharmacognosy and the PhD program in clinical drug development of the herbal medicine. Our major work is want to find the herbal resources and isolated the pure compound and to a natural product to make a new drug and the clinical use. If everyone have the interesting research about the herbal medicine, welcome come to Taipei Medical University. We every year opening a lot of the student position give everyone. When you come here, come our school to study no tourism, okay? No. And we have give a high scholarship. So welcome everyone come here. Today, my talk stop in here. Thank you, everyone. Patient attention here. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you. Thank you very much, Professor. So that's a wonderful presentation from Professor Wang, the herbal medicines. And I believe all dear participants has some questions in their mind. And now we would like to directly go for a discussion session or question and answer session. So if you have any questions for the dear participant in this webinar, so you may join the question and answer session by raising your hand and also by writing your question in our chat room. And also you can ask directly to the Zoom. And also the webinar participant here, you may also join for the question and answer directly for this session. Now, please, I invite all participants to join the question and answer session. Please, if anyone, any question? Is there any question from our chat room?
I look at one person, Iza raise his hand. So,
Okay.
what is your question?
Yes, Professor. So, okay. So,
what?
Okay, before Isla asked directly through our Zoom, Professor, so we would like to start with the first question from our chat room. The question from Ibu Karisma. Okay, let me read the question, Professor. Good morning, everyone. What an amazing presentation from Professor Wang. I'd like to ask to Professor Wang, the question is, what is the most difficult step from your Tang clinical trial? Thank you for your explanation. So that
Yes, understand the question. Our the most difficult step from the clinical trial is invite the volunteers. We screening the 123 person, just only 25% can accept this project. So in this clinical study, I think is a difficult step is the invite the volunteer, and the volunteer want to can very smoothly to follow us the 3 months also is a difficult step. Okay, the answer is clear.
Okay, hopefully.
Invite a volunteer and let my volunteer follow the 3 months is a difficult step.
Okay, thank you for a wonderful explanation, Professor Wang. Hopefully, it really answered the questions. And the second question is coming from, okay, so the one who raising hand. So please, Isla, to ask the question to Professor Wang now.
Is that?
So hello.
Hello, I look you.
Okay, so who is Isla Sukierto? Okay, right. Let's go for the questions. Ibu, I think you still turned off the microphone. Please now turn on the microphone that we can hear your voice.
I didn't hear anything, any noise.
Okay, we still wait for the question from Isla. Or, okay. Or we move to another questions. Okay, so we move to another question, Professor. So the webinar participant here, he would like to ask directly to Professor Wang. To Mr. Viren, the floor is yours now.
Hello, Professor. Thank you for the opportunity, Professor Wang.
Yes.
What an amazing presentation from you. I'm Feren Ramadan. I'm a clinical pharmacy. I interested about the Su Di Huang for the increased estradiol for cycle menstruation, and So Yao decrease for REOS, also for cycle menstruation. Yeah, and
Yes.
is it possible Siwutang can be used as PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome? We also can use for metformin, I think. Yeah. Is it Siwutang can use for the polycystic ovarian syndrome, Prof? Thank you.
Yes, you are right. The design, the clinical trial, we follow the PCOS, the factor, you know. So, but if we want to say use for the PCOS, we must let the volunteer got the baby. So last time we didn't say can to treat the PCOS, just only say they can to improve ovary follicular male developments. But in our deeply hope, think and the Siwutang can use in the PCOS. But our results must based on the clinical study data. So we didn't say can treat the PCOS, but in clinical, we suggested you can use this Siwutang for the PCOS patient. Okay, is it clear?
I think in someday we can together to research about the Siwutang for PCOS, Prof. I think.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Your question. Okay.
Okay, so that's the wonderful explanation from Professor Wang, and then to Mr. Viren. Does it answer the questions? Okay, thank you very much. Now we will move to the third questions coming from our chat room. And the question is, hi, I am Andi Navisa from Lampung University. The question is, what is the factors caused from screening 1 to 3 volunteers and only 25 accepted? So,
okay, this is very impressive. Then see the question because you know in Taiwan a lot of people believe the Western medicine. So 123 volunteers, the patient got from the information got from the Western medicine doctor. They suggested their patient for us. But when we tell them, if you do you want to take some traditional Chinese medicine? A lot of people say no. So we just only 25% say, okay, I can try it. I didn't know in Indonesia is the same or not. But in Taiwan, almost the people like take the Western medicine. Some just only 8 to 10% people like take the TCM. Traditional Chinese medicine so we just only 25% accept this the project. Okay.
Okay.
Is it clear?
Right. So that's the explanation from Professor Wang. Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Andy, it is really answer your questions. All right, then we move to the another questions. We still have maybe 2 or 3 questions. Is that okay, Professor?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I will read the next question, please.
What is?
Okay, so right, the question is from Ibu Isla. Hi, I am Islami. I'm from midwifery program. The question is, can SWT formulas to cure or to treatment for the woman who had infertility problem? So that's the question, Professor.
Yes, the answer is yes. The Siwutang can to treatment for women they have the infertility problem. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, the answer is yes.
It's very clear. Okay, because Siwutang can improve the follicular developments. So you can use that for treat the infertility. Okay.
Right. So,
Right.
yeah, of course, it is can be used for the invert.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you, Professor Wang. And we still have any question from our chat room, please? No? Okay, maybe. Yeah, maybe we still have more questions from Ibu Isla. May I read? Okay, so still question from Ibu Isla, Professor. The next question is, can the SWT formulas to treatment for the perimenopause period? So that's the next question from Ibu Isla. Okay.
I think it also can use that because the gynecological disease in traditional doctor always use this formula, but in our study we didn't to prove the disease. But according to Anson book use, I suggested it also can use that. Okay.
Okay. So to Isla, the answer is yes. Hopefully, you can your question. Yeah, thank you, Professor Wang. And I think we have another question. Okay, so the next questions from Ibu Umiko.
The herbal medicine for the
Okay. So the question is
endometriosis.
The question is, what the herbal medicine for endometriosis? Thank you very much. What is the herbal medicine for endometriosis? So that's the question, Professor.
I didn't know what is the endometriosis. Who can tell me? Loris, can you tell me what is the endometriosis? Is the endocrine disorder? Who can tell me? Loris, 郑哲。喂。
Yeah, maybe Umiko, please.
Oh, 子宫内膜液。Okay. 哦，谢谢。Yes, no. The endometriosis didn't use 四物汤。No. Okay, my answer is no.
Okay, so the answer, right? So Bumi tell such as myome in uteri. So endometriosis is like a myome in the uteri. So the answer is no, Professor.
No. Because it can increase the 四物汤 will increase the estradiol level and the active aromatics. This syndrome correlation for the a large of the estradiol, so didn't use this 四物汤. Okay.
Okay. So thank you for the explanation, Professor. And then to Umiko, hopefully it really answer your questions. And maybe this is the last question. So webinar participants, is there any more questions? Finish? No. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so there is one participant raising hand. Is that right? Yes. Okay. So to Bapak Andi Nafisa, Tandri Ajeng. So you raise your hand, please. Now go for the question, please.
What question?
Pak Andi, hello there. Would you please now turn on the camera and the microphone that you may ask your question directly to Professor Wang now.
Thank you so much for the chance
Sir?
to me. Hello?
Okay.
Is my voice clear?
Oh, Ibu, okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Hello, Professor. I'm from Lampung University. There are a lot, not really. There are some questions that I'm going to address to you related to your experience, and I am so interested in it. So maybe the first questions I'd like to say is it possible for if I conduct the same experience, is it possible to claim about the EVAC based on the 25 volunteers? Is it possible, Mr. Professor Ching? Is it possible? So, and the second is, what is the rules of catalpol? It's a kind of polysaccharide in Rehmannia glutinose. So, what is the catalpol rules in ovarian follicular maldevelopment? So maybe based on this research, so I would like to explore many traditional medicine from Indonesia that can be conducted best, just like your experience. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, I try to answer your question. In our study, we will to find the 四物汤 totally can active the aromatase, and we separate each herbal to do this the same experiments, and then we find the 熟地黄 can active the aromatase expression. Finally, we use the 熟地黄 the major marker. Catapult. Catapult is a nature product, okay, in the 熟地黄. And then maybe, like you say, have the other component also have the activity, but we just only got the catapult, the chemical. So we just only do the chemical activity, and we are very lucky can gather good data. So in our experiments, we just only say catapult can to increase aromatase activity. But I think in 熟地黄 also have a lot of the component, maybe like polysaccharide or the other I didn't know you didn't know. Acetoside. Acetoside also is the component in 熟地黄, but in our study we didn't do that. So, ovarian male development is a major factor is estradiol level decrease. So we find the catapult can increase estradiol level. So we suggested maybe 熟地黄 is the key herbals. Okay.
Okay, so that's the explanation from Professor Wang. So to Ibu Andi Nafisa, does it answer your question? To Ibu Andi? Hopefully, yes. Okay, so we move to the last question, Professor. So maybe I will close the question after this because we have a limited time, and then we move to another session after this. Okay, so the last question coming from Ibu Astri. So the question is, hi, I am Astri from Yogyakarta. And the question is, how about the side effect of the SWT and any comparing study with the other similar herbal medicine formulation that have same function? Thank you. So that's
yes. In traditional medicine, there are a lot of the similar formula can to use the gynecological disease, but they always use the 4 herbals as the core herbal. Understand the best on this the 4 herbal. Maybe they will addition the Renseng or ginseng or edit some I didn't know how to say that. I mean, have the 4 herbal is the best material in formula, But if you have an other syndrome, you can edit the other herbal put together to use in the clinical. So your question is the same 四物汤 function formula to have there the same 四物汤 function formula? The answer is yes. Even in Taiwan, the clinical doctor always edit a lot of different kinds of herbal in this formula to apply to patient. Okay, my answer, yes, answer is we have a lot of formula, but now I didn't give you a list to you because I needed to go back to read the book. Okay.
Thank you, Professor Wang, for the wonderful answer and explanation. Okay, so hopefully to Ibu Asri, hopefully it is really answering your question well. And as dear participant of this webinar, I would say sorry to close the discussion session or question and answer session because we have a limited time for this session. And one more time, I would like to say thank you. And now please give applause virtually to Professor Wang for the wonderful presentation, right?
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, and Professor Wang, before I close this session, would you please give a closing statement for the presentation, please?
Okay, thank you everyone. Your question let me can feel your passion. You like my topic. So in 四物汤 is very famous in Taiwan use. We always use in a herbal diet. So the study give us very stronger information. Is good for healthy, especially in women. So if you like, if in your country you want to do the same experiments, if you also have the herbal medicine, but you didn't know the function, you also can follow clinical study to find the major factor, and then design the basic study to prove the mechanism. I think this is a thinking pathway is very useful. So finally, I'm very happy come here to share our research finding and come here. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much one more time to Professor Wang. And yeah, I must close this session. And thank you very much, Professor Wang. We see you in the next presentation. Goodbye, Professor.
Okay, bye-bye.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, so before we are moving to the second session, now we would like to tell a little bit about Taiwan International Healthcare Training Center, or we call TIHTZ. So, ladies and gentlemen, Taiwan International Healthcare Training Center, or we call TIHTZ, is hosting 4 series webinar with University of Muhammadiyah Kudus this year. In the past 19 years, over 1,800 healthcare professionals from 72 countries have received training from TIHTZ, including doctors, nurses, professors, healthcare administrators, health officer, and so forth. Now let's see what is so special about their training. Let's enjoy the video. The audio is still on.
This is our training lab. Let's go. Hello. Good morning. My clinical training consists of routine sign-outs, weekly review of typical and atypical cases on Wednesdays, clinico-pathological conferences on every Thursday, immunofluorescence and electron microscopy reporting, learning from archived slides and cases, and monthly self-assessment and topic tests. Dr. Wu is a great mentor and great teacher. If you have interest in dermatopathology, I would definitely recommend this program.
The level of medical service in Taiwan is, I think it's outstanding. It's very amazing. We also have many medical centers can provide advanced medical care for the students or the scholars. We have a very good subspecialty training or specialty trainings. For the training of dermatopathology, this is a very subspecialty. Not many training centers can do this job. There is an international committee for dermatopathology. They will accredit the training center in the world. There's only 2 sites. Asia. The site in Taipei, our program is the first accredited program for this ICDT. This is also the major site of Asian Society of Dermatopathology. And I'm the current president of ASD. We will provide many teaching resources. So if you come to our programs, we hope that can help in your future career. Those are from the same schools. It's lunchtime. Good break.
I love Taiwanese food so much. Taiwan breakfast restaurants are pretty common, and they would be open from early morning till afternoon.
I got to enjoy your break. Yay.
Yes, it's just like my family in Taiwan. We always have fun and celebrate all the special days together. We make rice dumplings during the Dragon Boat Festival. We twerk and dance at the year-end party. We celebrate the Christmas and open the gifts together. We have birthday parties every now and then.
Stay happy and stay healthy.
Thanks to THTC, I have experienced almost every aspect of the Taiwanese culture. I would really like to thank THTC for giving me such an indelible training experience. Not only do they have a wonderful dorm room, which makes me feel at home, but they also help me find the best hospital for my clinical training. Everything I've learned during my training would be conducive to the reinforcement of my profession.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Taiwan.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. I love Taiwan. I love THTC. Your first choice of clinical training platform.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, now we are moving to the second session for this webinar. And in the second session, so we have Mr. Tengku Azlan Shah bin Tengku Muhammad as a second speaker. So now I'd like to connect with Mr. Tengku Azlan. Hello, sir.
Assalamualaikum, I'm here. Can you hear me?
How are you today, sir?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, right. So, Mr. Tengku Azlan Shah today will talk about the wonderful presentation. But before he deliver the presentation, I would like to invite a photo session with. No? Okay, so since there is no photo session together, before he deliver the presentations, let me read his curriculum vitae first. His full name is Tengku Azlan Shah bin Tengku Muhammad, and now he is a senior lecturer at University Kuala Lumpur Royal College of Medicine, Perak, Malaysia. He is a Malaysian and he is a Muslim. About the academic qualifications, he completed the bachelor degree in pharmacy in 1996 from University Saint Malaysia, and he completed the Master of Science in Pharmacy or Pharmacognosy Traditional Medicine in 2011 from University Technology or MARA, Malaysia. In March 2018, the present expert to complete in November 2001, the title is Drug Monograph Development for Health Herb Used Among Women in Perak, Malaysia. Okay, and also about the research publication, there are so many research publications that he had published, but he is really famous with the publication entitled Pengetahuan Pengamal Tradisional di Perak, Malaysia mengenai penggunaan tumbuh-tumbuhan untuk kesehatan wanita. And also Perception and Predictor of Herbal Medicine used among Malay women in Malaysia. And there are so many publications that I can mention one by one. And then to save more time, let's go directly for the presentation from Mr. Azlan. Now, Mr., the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chairperson.
Okay. Yes, sir.
You see my screen now?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay. Can I start now? Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
I'm just today I want to share with all of us here in this webinar, and I feel very honored and thank you to the organizing committee for inviting me as the speakers for this webinar. So my title today is Medicinal Plants Used by Malay Traditional Healers in Perak, Malaysia. So, as the introduction, the traditional medicine in Malaysia, especially among the Malays, is actually a mixture of the principle of medicine of Arab Unani and also a mixture of the medicinal philosophy of the Galenic. Along the historical timeline, there were also attributes from the traditional medicine from Indonesia, from the Chinese community, Indian community, and as well as the assimilation of the practices from the Orang Asli healers. So in general, the traditional medicines in Malaysia, it incorporates the use of natural materials from plants, animals, microorganisms, minerals, and few other components, which in basically aim at treating the ailment and restoring of well-being. And usually the traditional medicine were used together with abstinence, chants, massage, and prayers, and also other ritual practices in attempt to eliminate the body or the patient from bad influences from the spirits or ghosts. So there are various types of medicinal plants used by the rural communities, and the knowledge on the use of this plant commonly are preserved in the culture of certain ethnic group, especially the Malays, in unrecorded form. And this knowledge commonly were passed down from generation to generation only verbally, without any written effort or anything. And usually the knowledge will pass down the generation of the same family. And mostly the healers are the one who hold immense knowledge on the use of various type of the plants for medicinal purpose. So we are doing a documentation survey to document the types of the plants being used by the healers in Perak, Malaysia. So this documentation provides an understanding of the traditional medicine currently practiced by the Malay, especially in state of Perak, Malaysia. So we believe that by having this good understanding of the current practice, we will have a clearer insight into the current scenarios, and this will help as source of information for us to identify the quality problem or the safety issues of the use of various medicinal plant, especially in Perak. So the objective of the documentation was to record the types of plant used by the healers, to record parts of plant commonly utilized by the healers in their products, and also the users, traditional users of the plant, and also to identify the current issues and challenges faced by the healers of in Perak, Malaysia. So this is the map showing the state of Perak, Malaysia. So Perak is one of the 14 states within Malaysia. It's located in the west bank of Peninsular Malaysia. It's the second largest state in Peninsular Malaysia with 21,000 kilometers square of land coverage. Of it, we have the forest, the total forested area around 1 million hectares, with over 800 hectares are permanent forest reserve, while the rest are dry inland forests and mangrove forests. This vast diversity of rainforests were the repository for numerous species of plant and herbs with medicinal potential. So these are the source where the healers get their plant supply. So let's go one by one. The types of plant used by the healers. So before we carry out the documentation, first the visit was carried out to each district and the healers were located, and then the healers were interviewed. The healers in the village were defined as the person known to utilize medicinal plants for self-treatment or for the family or others. So those with this criteria, we approach and then we ask for permission to be interviewed, and then after we get an approval from them, then we start documenting all their knowledge that they shared with us. So in total, we have about 56 healers interviewed in the survey. Majority are 60 years old and above. So mix of male and female healers. So from the documentation, in total, we already have recorded about 184 types of medicinal plants used by the healers in Perak. So this list according to the Malay vernacular name or Malay common names. So most of the healers reported to use various types of plants in their medicine, with some already admitted that they use more than 20 types of plant together in a single product or a single formulation. So these are the photos showing that the dried slicer on the left one is the dried slices of plant root. This one being kept in the plastic basin for further processing, and then will be packed into a few small bags of the roots. And on the right side is one of the practitioners mixing various types of plant materials in metal basin. The roots, the seeds, the leaves, and everything. they use in their products. They mix together, and then after that, some will be sent for powderization and will be packed into capsule and then packed into bottle and be sold. So these are also photos showing various type of plant materials collected by the healers, and they usually store their plant materials in sacks and plastic bags, and usually they keep it in their house, in a corner of their house. And this is the apparatus used by the healer to produce medicinal oil. They cook the medicinal with oil and few other liquid, and then the medicinal oil was produced. So now, these are the types of commonly used plant that were recorded during the survey. So we found out that Tongkat Ali or Eurycoma longifolia were the mostly used plant and was the mostly mentioned by the healers, and followed by Kacik Fatimah, Tunjuk Langit, and the rest. There are about 14 on the top of the list out of 184. These are the most common and the most popular. So there are also plants that used by the healers which are commonly used in cooking. So I think most of us are familiar with this Asian cooking. We know some of this, like this adas pedas, fennel, sour, garcinia, and the rest. So this also the plants that also being used in cooking. And for the method of obtaining or collecting the medicinal plant, healers mostly collect the plant from the jungle, either by themselves or either by orang asli, or maybe some of their relatives went to the jungle and collect for them. Some of the plant were cultivated, and while some of the plant were purchased from other practitioners or suppliers. Mostly the spices that were also included in the products, mostly spices were bought or purchased from other country. And we found out that those healers that reside far from forest or in a plantation area like paddy plantation, oil palm or rubber plantation, mostly only use the plant that they cultivated around their house, and most of the other materials they purchase from other practitioners. And the parts that commonly being used by the healers in Perak are roots. Mostly roots were used in the medicine. Out of 184 types of plant, 36 types of plant, we found that the root of the plant were used in the medicine. So also other parts being used like fruits, leaves, and barks, and also some rhizomes and tubers. So now we move on to the traditional uses of the plants. So you can see here the topmost on the list, that is Tongkat Ali or Eurycoma longifolia. The use, as mentioned by the healers, they claim that this Tongkat Ali as an aphrodisiac. Have another claim, they said that the root of this plant have properties to improve or boost energy, and also to be used after childbirth, and also can be used to improve blood circulation. Likewise, you can see from the table, there are, for one type of plants, you can see that the healer usually claim that the plant have more than one users. And few of these plants were only used single, but the rest are mixture of the plant were used together. So that's why when you see in this table, you can see the some of the users are being repeated in the row, other row as well. So because they use together, so they claim the users also being the same when they use together. So mostly for energy booster and the use of after childbirth, and also we can use for hypertension also. Like this one, Gajah Beranak, and this one mostly used for postnatal users or after childbirth, and also Mastotek, Ficus deltoida, and also Pakma. This for Serapat, Halban, and Halia. You can see here also use after childbirth among the popular use mentioned by the healers. Apart from that, hypertension and also diabetes. All right, let's move on to the next subtopic. Current issues and challenges that we found in this study. We found out that there are issues of some issues in the identification of the plants. There are few healers who use same species of plant, but different healers used to call the plant with different name. For example, there are plants by the name of Asam Bukit, and other healers call the plant as Asam Gelugo. From the first, we thought that these two plants were referring to two different plants, but after further investigation, we found that both were referring to Garcinia artoviridis. There are also different plants, but having similar Malay name. For example, Haji Samad or Tongkat Haji Samad. After identification was done, we found that this Tongkat Haji Samad and Haji Samad were actually referring to two different species. Those collected from northern part of Perak were actually referring to Salacia macrophylla, while on the southern part of Perak, it refers to Prismatomeris glabra. Another plant, there are also plants with names refers to similar plants of different variant. For example, plants with the name Belimbing Buloh, Belimbing Bukit, Belimbing Hutan, Belimbing Tanah. So the Malay name of Belimbing were perceived as related to star fruit, or its variant, the variant of star fruit, the Belimbing. But anyhow, after further investigation, we found that Belimbing Buloh refers to Everia bilimbi, the same genus as star fruit, while the rest, Belimbing Bukit, Belimbing Hutan, and Belimbing Tanah, are not referring to star fruit. But actually, Belimbing Bukit refers to Oxalis barrieri, Belimbing Hutan refers to Aceratium oppositi or Bacauria angulata, and Belimbing Tanah refers to Taka cristata. So the next issues and challenge is the overexploitation of the resources. From the healers, we learned that some of the plants were collected in huge amount. And from day to day, every time they collected the plant material, they admitted that the plant in which they previously collected were now having less of the plant, and they have to go further into the deep jungle to collect the source. And this might eventually lead to extinction of the plant. And because of this, few healers already started to import drug plants from other countries. And the risk of doing this is the authentication of the plant that being imported from other countries are not are not known, and the identity also might be wrong. They might get the wrong plant, and also from the importation, they might get plant with contamination with other unwanted plants, and also if they import the powder form of plant, and this might have been adulterated with any drugs. Another issues, most healers are already of old age, and if the healers die, there is a risk of losing the knowledge if no systematic documentation being performed from now. And also, they have no one to pass the knowledge. The children and younger generation are not keen to learn the knowledge from them because they prefer to work in other sector with more income, and also most of them prefer to have treatment in government hospitals and to use the conventional medicine instead of using the traditional medicine. So what can be done? It is believed that if we do not do anything from now, we will lose this knowledge. So the plants need to be documented extensively, and the users need to be scientifically proven. At the moment, the documentation activity already being done, but I think this need to be multiplied and need to be increased furthermore, because there are few things that we need to catch now before we lose this one forever. First, like I said just now, the practitioners were already of old age, and some already suffer from illness, and sooner or later, the documentation of knowledge from them is very difficult. Another one is the deforestation. The problem of deforestation, especially in Asia, including Malaysia, is an alarming situation where most of the logging, especially the illegal logging, and also the illegal transformation of forests into oil palm plantation or durian plantation, and this will wipe off all these plants that have potential for medicinal values. And if we didn't do anything, documented the plant and the use from now on, will we risk losing all these forever. And another one, we also need to develop the monograph for plants that are not yet being monographed. There are plenty of plants that listed in the study that would not yet have the monograph in the Malaysian monograph. So we believe to do that in order to help this problem. So there are also need to promote plantation or cultivation of the common plant like Kacik Fatimah, Tungkak Ali, Serapat, and everything. So this will help to get a steady supply of the plant material and to avoid from over-exploitation of the resource from the wild. And eventually, this will help to prevent the plant from extinction. And the importation of dried plant from other countries, the healers also need to be knowledgeable on the plant that they use. By having all the documentation, official, monograph, so that we make it accessible to the healers might have at least the basic knowledge on identification, and they know what they need to do to check the authentication of the plants they import from other country. And next are the examples of the traditional medicine produced by the traditional healers. And these are one of the healers in Perak that produce 5 types of medicine. You can see on the bottom one is the roots and seeds, leaves, and other parts of plant being mixed together and put in a plastic bag. And this is meant for ubat rebus or boiled medicine. And on the top there, the 2 bottles there, medicinal oil. And on the right side, there are majun and also powdered medicine or jamu. This is another example of traditional medicinal products in Perak. This is also a mixture of dried roots and other plant parts. So we call this as ubat rebus. So literally can be translated as boiled medicine. So these plant parts will be boiled, and then the decoction will be consumed maybe for 3 times daily, 1 cup or 1 spoon for 3 times daily. And the roots can be boiled again until the color or the taste change. So another example, this is the root of a plant. The knife was used to scrape the outer layer of the roots, and then the small amount of the root were taken and poured into a glass of boiling water, stirred, and left for 10 minutes, and then the liquid produced were drink. And these were used to, believed to be used, can be used to boost the energy, especially for men, for working in the plantation area. So I think that's all my sharing session. And I think I would like to have a question. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Tengku Azlan Shah and Tengku Muhammad, for the wonderful presentation. Okay, and I think like another session, so I think it's kind of on your mind that you will have any kind of questions addressed to Mr. Tengku Azlan Shah. And now we would like to go directly for the discussion session or question and answer session. But before the question and answer session, so I will give a little information that now the IHTC is now open for registrations. So if you need more information, you can go directly to the Facebook and also another web for more information. Thank you very much. And now we go directly for the discussion session. I'd like to invite all webinar participants and also the participant here to join the question and answer session. Okay, so you might raise your hand and also writing your question in our chat room, and also you can, okay? Right, so, okay, seems like there is a first questions coming from Ibu Andi Nafisa. Okay, so she's raised hand now. And, okay, let's go directly to Ibu Andi Nafisa. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you for the MC for giving me a good chance. Okay, good day, everybody. Thank you. I'd like to ask maybe about the presentation from Professor Tengku. Thank you so much for your brilliant presentation. I would like to ask about what is the academic support for the people or for the healers to improve their capacity. I mean, is there any support from the academic, just like a university, related to the pharmacognosy or related to the natural product to support the healers so that the people around the village maybe that are healed by the healers can have a good knowledge related to the plants or related to the natural products in their place. Thank you so much.
Okay, the first question coming from Ibu Andi Nafisa. So if I'm not mistaken, the question is, sir, is there any support or maybe like a motivation to the healers here from people maybe in the village, yeah, to know about the certain plant is really useful for herbal medicine? So that's the question, sir.
Okay. At the moment, we have a few short courses on especially on the quality, on the production of herbal medicine that were conducted by a few universities in Malaysia. But lately, during the pandemic, the course were not as widely being conducted as before. So we do have all these trainings, and most of the time, this kind of training, the response from the traditional healers and also the traditional producers of Malay medicine are overwhelming. They like all these kind of trainings, and from the government side, our government have the One Village, One Industry initiative, and production of traditional medicine falls into one of these initiatives as well. And government also have all the support for all these things. So apart from that, only on the authentication and also the identification of the plants, the scientific names and everything was at the moment not yet extensively being conducted. I mean, the training on this are not extensively. We don't have this widely at the moment, but there are few like how to identify plants, how to collect plants. There are 1 or 2 universities having this kind of training, but I believe this is still limited and it's not being widely taken by the healers or traditional practitioners community for the time being. I hope I answered the question.
Okay, thank you for the wonderful explanation. So that's the explanation for the questions. Hopefully to Ibu Andi Nafisa, does it answer the questions? Ibu?
Yes, it is very impressive for the question. Thank you so much for the answer. I mean, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, Ibu. So now we move to the next questions. Annie? For second questions. Okay. Coming from Ibu Karisma. The question is, good morning, Mr. Tengku Azlan Shah. What a good presentation from you. It really made me impressed about the medical plant used by the traditional healer in Perak, Malaysia. I'd like to ask you, what is the special things that make traditional healers in Perak is different from other? So that's the question, sir.
Okay. In general, traditional healers in Perak and the rest of traditional healers in the rest of other states in Malaysia, more or less having the same practice. What make me choose the Perak? Because first, like I already mentioned, we have the history of civilization back to 18th and 17th centuries, and that is one reason. So there are few manuscripts that already written some of the traditional medicine being used by the Perak community since the early 17th, 19th centuries. So this make me feel that we need to do something to look into this, whether the same practice still being practiced now, whether the same or not as what has been reported earlier. Apart from that, Perak have the diverse or vast rainforest, and from our preliminary survey before we run this ethnobotanical documentation, we found out that several places in Perak, we do found a number of traditional healers, and this has sparked our interest to further explore into this study. So I think that's the answer for this one. Hope I answer your question.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. So that's the wonderful explanation and answer to Ibu Karisma. Hopefully, it is really answering your questions. And now we are moving to the third questions. Is there any participant who is raising hand? Yes? Oh, Mr. Anwari now is raising hand. Okay. Now,
thank you very much, Mr. Safik, for his times, and good morning and assalamualaikum, Mr. Azlan. I address you from Indonesia. Okay, this is a great explanation from you and then from Malaysia. And this today I have the question for you. Because you discussed about traditional medicines in Malaysia, so I propose questions for you. And then, of course, Malaysia and Indonesia are different places, and of course, you are living in different territory like Indonesia and Malaysia. These are my questions on how to convince someone that herbs or traditional medicines are also good for consumptions. You know, we are living in different places like cities and village. Of course, Malaysia, you have like that, like I'm living in Indonesia. Of course, we have different opinion that modern-minded people cannot believe herb, or they call anti-herbal. And how to convince someone like that, Mr. Azlan? Thank you.
I didn't really get the question.
Okay, this I repeat more, and how to convince someone that herbs are also good for consumption, because so many people not receive as traditional medicines is not good for consumption. How to convince someone like that, Mister? Thank you.
Okay, sir. So if I'm not mistaken, the question from Mr. Anwari. So, how can we make people understand that herbal medicine is good or not good for a people? So maybe the question is like that.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, we do have certain people that totally disagree with this herbal medicine, and those people always claim that herbal medicine bad and have all the toxic effect. And there are also certain group of population who are believe that herbal medicine as a cure for anything, for any ailment. The cure is from herb. So we have these two extreme, and in Malaysia, in our Ministry of Health, we have the traditional medicine division under the pharmacy department, under the pharmacy unit of Ministry of Health. So this, they have always run campaign on the safety on using the herbal medicine, especially those who can be easily purchased from online shopper. So these are the issues nowadays, because most of the plant being sold through online platform are overclaimed. So one plant being claimed can be used to treat multiple ailments, and some of them are already proven to have toxic effect, while the rest are proven to have adulteration with other drugs. And this has been done by the Ministry of Health under the pharmaceutical division. So most of the herbs that have all these dangerous effects already being banned. But unfortunately, there are still few people who keep on selling this through online platform, and this at the moment is a challenging issue and not easy to be tackled. So on other thing, for those people who don't really believe that herbal are effective, so mostly we just leave it like that. Time will tell them whatever the truth is truth. So that is my opinion.
Okay, thank you very much.
Answer your question.
Okay, so that's the wonderful explanation and answer from Mr. Tengku Azlan Shah, and hopefully to Mr. Anwari, is it really answering the questions? Does it answer the question, sir? Mr. Anwari? Yes? Okay. Right now, we will move to the another questions. Is there any more questions from our chat room or the participant here? If you want to have any kind of question, please now. We still have more time, about 5 minutes to go. And if you have still any question, dear webinar participant, you can join the question and answer session by writing your question in our chat room, and also you may raise hand to ask directly to Mr. Tengku Azlan, and also the webinar participant here can join directly for the discussion session. Is there any more questions? No? Okay, if no more, no? Okay, we still wait for the next question, if any. If no, okay. So I would like to say one more time for the wonderful presentation. I would like to say thank you to Mr. Tengku Azlan Shah bin Tengku Muhammad for the wonderful presentation. Sir, before I close this session, would you please give a closing statement, sir?
Okay, my last word, I would like to thank University Muhammadiyah Kudus for giving me the opportunity to be the speaker in this webinar. And I hope we can collaborate in the future. So for all the participants, I invite you all to visit UniKL website, especially University Kuala Lumpur Royal College of Medicine, Perak. And we do have all the research facilities for those who are interested in joining us as postgraduate students. So you are welcome to visit our website and look for all the information that are available there. And again, I would like to thank all the organizing committee for the wonderful event and for the chances given to me as the speaker. And thank you all. See you next time. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Well, please now give applause virtually to Mr. Tengku Azlan for wonderful presentation, and we see you in the next presentation, sir. We'd like to say thank you, and I close this session. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, Mr. Tengku Azlan. Okay, and well, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully this is really amazing, both presentation from Professor Wang and also Mr. Tengku Azlan. And now we still have one session, and I think this is also really interesting. Okay, so for the third presentations will be delivered by Ibu Endang Satyawati. So today she also will talk about the herbal medicine in our country, Indonesia. But before she delivers the wonderful presentation, so allow me to read her curriculum vitae first. Okay, so her full name is Endang Satyawati. So about the date of birth, she was born in Pati, 25 of July, 1983. Now she is assistant ahli for the professional academic. And about the formal education, she completed the bachelor degree of pharmacy in Universitas Gadjah Mada, Yogyakarta, and she continued the master degree of professions of pharmacy in Universitas Gadjah Mada, and also she completed the Magisters of Management in Pharmacy, also in Gadjah Mada University of Yogyakarta, and she continued the doctoral degree of Science of Pharmacy from Gadjah Mada University also. And about her work experiences, so she is a apoteker in Setia Kawan Pharma di Pucak Wangi Pati from 2009 till April 2014. About the research she conducted, she is really famous with many research, but in present research, she is famous with the research entitled Simplex Lattice Design Analysis for Optimizing the Sangkitan Extract Production. Okay, and also about her publication, there are so many publications that I can mention one by one, but in 2021, so she published the article entitled Uji Aktivitas Antibakteri Ekstrak Etanol 70% daun pegangan terhadap bakteri Escherichia coli, and also source of natural antioxidant from some medicinal plant to help maintain a healthy body from the bad effect of COVID-19. This is a preview. And now to save our time, so let's go directly for the third presentation delivered by Ibu Endang. Ibu, now the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sakit. Tes. Maksudnya. Bentar, ini Zoom saya kok muter-muter keluar. Keluar, ini Zoom saya keluar sendiri dari Zoom. Share screen-nya, ini Zoom saya keluar sendiri. And then fokus for lip. Traditional medicine in Indonesia, basic health research year 1819, 2018 saw that the Indonesian population use traditional medicine 48 Finnish herbal, 30.8% homemade herbal, 24.6% family medicinal plants.
Next. Nggak bisa. Traditional medicine in Indonesia classified consists of three. There are jamu, standard herbal medicine, and phytopharmaca. Jamu focus efficacy and safety proven empirically, and standard herbal medicine research focus safety and efficacy scientific by preclinical trial, raw material and finished product standardized, and phytopharmaca determined to safety and efficacy scientific via clinical trial, raw material and finished product standardized. Traditional medicine is a mixture of natural ingredient from plants, animal, mineral, or mixture. This material used empirical on, but the raw material are not standardized. Standardized herbal medicine preparation made from the natural ingredients, which are the standard has been standardized. The efficacy and safety proven scientific with preclinical side. And phytopharmaca is natural drug preparation that use material standardized efficacy and safety has been proved by preclinical trial and clinical trial. Development of traditional medicine into standardized herbal medicine and phytopharmaca required standardized and Symbiocsia quality requirement. Next. Step of herbal research consists of three that are in vitro, preclinical, and clinical trial. In vitro, assays are a type scientific assay performed in a laboratory. There are components that must be present in order test to qualify an in vitro assay. First, they must be performed with mean test tube or sterile container rather than in living organism. Preclinical determine preliminary pharmacology studies in not human or animal, but not necessary for purpose in support of regulatory approval. Confidential treatment has been sought for portion of this agreement. Clinical trial are experiment on observation done in clinical research, such prospective biomedic or behavior research studied on human participant designed to answer specific question. Biomedical behavior intervention includes new treatment, new drugs, vaccine, dietary choice, and etc. In vitro assay of curcuma santoriza rhizome consists of antioxidant, can inhibit HMG-CoA reductase enzyme and lipase enzyme, as anti-inflammatory and as antimicrobial and as anti-proliferation of leukemia cell. Next. This one example curcuma santoriza. This one example pepper or curcuma santoriza as anti-proliferation in leukemia cell. The result show the sample can inhibit leukemia P388 cell with the value of IC50 was 15,5 ppm. The volatility of curcuma rhizome as an anti-proliferative activity of leukemia. Next. Next. Then preclinical assay of Curcuma santoriza consists of as anti-inflammatory, anti-diabetic, anti-dyslipidemia. Anti-dyslipidemia can decrease prophylipid, LDL, triglyceride, cholesterol total, and increase HDL. And as hepatoprotector and increase appetite. This is an example paper Curcuma santoriza as anti-hyperglycemic, anti-diabetic, and anti-inflammatory. Next. And paper example Curcuma santoriza as hepatoprotective. Result sample better activity compare the other sample with present protection of SGPT and SQOT level in dosis 6,75 gram per kilogram body weight. Then clinical trial of Curcuma santoriza. Curcuma santoriza efficacy on clinical trial as anti-psoriasis, mild and anti-inflammatory and anti-hepatotoxic. This paper example Curcuma santoriza in clinical trial as anti-psoriasis ilmet. Conclusion this paper based on the result 1% Curcuma santoriza ointment effective treatment option for mild psoriasis, but longer follow-up period is suggested to confirm the result. Curcuma santoriza ointment safe for topical administration, as there were no side effect report in the study. Then effect Curcuma santoriza extract on clinical trial as anti-inflammatory in systemic lupus erythematosus. This article says demonstrate the Curcuma santoriza extract can decrease serum, TNF alpha concentration and reduce clinical symptom of depression in patient SLA. Next. Then efficacy of Ginura procumbens. In vitro of Ginura procumbens consists of antioxidant, analgesic, anti-cancer, increase reproductive system, can inhibit HMG-CoA reductase enzyme and lipase enzyme, antivirus herpes simplex, renal protection, antimikroba, antifungi, antiplasmodia, anti-photoaging, and immunostimulant. This is a paper example research Ginura procumben in vitro and in vivo as antiplasmodial activities. And Ginura procumben efficacy extract ethanolic in vitro as antiproliferasi and immunomodulator. Kepotong. Then for example paper Ginura procumben as anti-proliferasi. Then study preclinical assay of Ginura procumben leaves consists of antioxidant, antihipertensi, anti-cancer, increase reproductive system, anti-diabetic, anti-plasmodial, gastroprotective, hepatoprotective, and anti-inflammatory. That example of a paper this is a sample paper of clinical trial Ginura procumben as antivirus herpes simplex. Next, and preclinical trial sample paper Ginura procumben decrease blood pressure or antihypertension and anti-diabetes. Then efficacy kombinasi Ginura procumbens, leaf, and Curcuma santoriza. In vitro and preclinical show that kombinasi can as anti-dyslipidemia. In vitro can inhibit HMK-CoA reductase enzyme and lipase enzyme, and preclinical can reduce LDL, LDL triglyceride and cholesterol, and increase HDL. Clinical trial show efficacy combination decrease triglyceride level and increase HDL level. Content of Curcuma santoriza rhizome consists of curcumin, bisdictomoxycurcumin, arcurcumin, camphor, zingiberin, beta-bisabolol, santorizol, arfasedrin, beta-curcumin, and etc. One of curcumin have many efficacy. Next, as antioxidant, chemotherapeutic, anti-inflammatory, inhibit scarring, cardiovascular disease, and etc. Content of Ginura procumbens leaves, kaempferol, quercetin, phenolic acid, gallic acid, procateric acid, vanillin acid, coumaric acid, rutin, miricetin, apigenin, and etc. Then safety of Curcuma santoriza. Preclinical trial subchronic does not affect the hematological data, and safety of Ginura procumbens leaves, acute toxicity and subchronic, no downside of toxicity or no toxic effect. This example paper acute toxicity Ginura procumbens leaves extra in rats. Safety combination of Ginura procumbens and Curcuma santoriza, acute toxicity, no toxic effects, and clinical trial show no toxic effect or safety. Finally, this example paper clinical trial combination Ginura procumbens and Curcuma santoriza have efficacy anti-dyslipidemia and safety. Thank you for listening. My audience will have share be benefit for all us. I will to this my presentation. Time to me return in moderator. Thank you.
Well, so that is the amazing presentation from Ibu Endang Setiawati. And yeah, of course, after the presentations, we would like to open the discussion session for our webinar participants who are really curious about the presentation. Now, okay, we go directly for the question and answer session. If you have any question, please you can raise your hand or even writing your question in our chat room, and also you can ask directly to the speaker. Is there any webinar participant here? Okay, would like to join for the question and answer. Okay, so first question from Ibu Karisma. Okay, for the right now. Okay, the floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. What an amazing presentation from Mrs. Endang ya about herbal medicine, especially from Curcuma santoriza and Ginura procumbens. Okay, Mrs. Endang, as mentioned from your presentation before, it is stated that one of the steps in herbal research is clinical trials, which is conducted in phase 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'd like to know what are the differences between those phases in clinical trial. Thank you for your explanation.
Okay, so that's the question from Ibu Karisma to Ibu Endang. Maybe you can answer this question. Thank you.
In this phase, clinical trial consists of phase 1, 2, 3, and 4. Phase 1.
Ibu Endang, please use microphone.
Phase 1 focus on determine to safety participant of healthy people, and phase 2 determine to safety and efficacy participant subjek example dyslipidemia, subjeknya dyslipidemia. And phase 3 product compare with standard product. Participant same phase 2 example dyslipidemia, we use dyslipidemia. And phase 4 post-marketing surveillance. And my explanation in first phase research are concerned about safety. We are looking for the high dose, then does give an effect. This will be different from this assay have been conducted in preclinical experiment or in animal trial because an expect effect may appear when test on human since their metabolism are different. And second phase, we are concept of herbal efficacy after herbal medicine has been declared safe in phase 1 in process to phase 2 to see further the effect that the therapy will provide. The number of volunteer patients need in phase 2 about 25 to 100 patients. They will be given the dose and method safe outcome based on the pre-phase and phase 1. In this patient do not use placebo. The large number of patients participating in phase 2 will make her possible of common sense effect. Then phase 3 safety and efficacy herbal medicine. Compare product herbal and standard. Example product herbal as anti-dyslipidemia compare standard example simvastatin. The study randomized by physician and investigation did not know which patient received the herbal or benchmark drug or standard drug to prevent data error due to subjectivity. And for plus is all calls post-marketing surveillance. The herbal medicine that have best phase 3 and have received approval from FDA in Indonesia, Badan POM will continue with phase 4. Thank you.
Okay, so that's the explanation from Ibu Endang. So to Ibu Karisma, does it answer the questions? Okay, right. So now we are moving to the second question. Is there any webinar participant who would like to join the question and answer session? Yes? Is there any question from chat room? Okay. Okay, show us the question, please. Okay. Yeah, next questions. Question from Mr. Viren Ramadan. The question is, I am interested in page 23 in your slide. Curcumin have efficacy in anti-arthritis. A few years ago, I have researched about the activity of nanomulsufficient drug delivery system, Camafuton, that was synthetic compound of curcumin, an anti-arthritis aromatic with a complete fruit about CFR in red at the time. I found the formulation problem. Right. I found the formulation problem from natural product. And then the question is how to determine which formula design we can use for the natural product, solid, semi-solid, or liquid. So that's the question.
Thank you for your question, Mr. Kiran. The result of the study by Kabib et al. Showed the manufacture Camafuton formula using the Myrtol solid dispersion technique method. Propylene glycol and surfactant sub as twin 20 with chemapor, we able safe nano-emulsifying drug delivery system. The development of nanoparticle delivery system using the SNEDDS technique is expected to improve the physical properties of the active compound to be formulated, accelerate the solubility of lipophilic compounds, and increase absorption. Besides Camafuton, there are examples of arthritis herbal medicine products that are given oral, named, for example, Remapo in capsule dose from containing combination ginger extract, soybean extract, shrimp cell extract, and curcuma. That's form solid.
Okay. So that's the explanation from Ibu Endang. And to Ms. Davina Ramadan, hopefully it answered your question quite well. And next question, so please show. All right, so the question from Mr. Hardi Astuti. Ibu Hardi Astuti. And the question is how to use curcuma for antimicrobial. Thanks. Okay, so please, Ibu Endang.
Okay, curcuma as antimicrobial, but I said example papers. Curcuma santoriza, this research in vitro, but in preclinical and clinical trial, not. Riset curcuma santoriza antimicrobial as in vitro, but preclinical and clinical trial not done. So as in vitro, so we must to reset preclinical and clinical to prove, assay, or demonstrasi the curcuma santoriza as antimicrobial. So must still being developed. Jadi is in vitro study and preclinical and clinical study-nya not done. still being development to research.
Okay, that's all the question, the answer from Ibu Endang. And yeah, okay, so that's the explanation and the answer from Ibu Endang. That's quite clear. So you may, hopefully it is answering your questions. And we still have a time to question and answer session. Yes, okay, we still have a time for next question. Okay, so this can be the last questions. All right then. And so the question from Ibu Ani Dwi Cahyaningsih. Right. Thank you for the presentation delivered. I want to ask about the side effect of curcuma as a hepatoprotector, whether it affects the value of SGOT or SGPT in hepatitis patient. Thank you. So that's the question, Ibu Endang.
Thank you.
Would you please give the answer?
First, for this question, I stand tetap up, not side effect but efficacy. Hepatoprotector have efficacy as hepatoprotector, protective hepar. For example, SGOT and SGPT, but not side effect. Meningkatkan hepatic level and catalase. Ada pertanyaan lanjutannya? Udah saja. Ada pertanyaan lanjutannya? The paper article research present study indicated curcuma santoriza have effect hepatoprotective, not side effect. Effective treatment for acute hepatitis disease. Meningkatkan hepatik. Sudah. Tadi for acute hepatitis. Yeah.
Okay, so that's the wonderful explanation and answer from Ibu Endang. And ladies and gentlemen, dear webinar participant, today, so if you have any question, you may chat to our advisor that we can send to the speaker, because we have run out of time for this webinar. And yeah, we would like to say thank you one more time to Ibu Endang Setyawati for wonderful presentation. Now, please give applause to Ibu Endang Setyawati. And before I end this session, Ibu, please give your closing statement, closing remark.
That herbal medicine is not efficacy, but have side effect. So research is consists of in vitro, preclinical, and clinical trial. Is must so we don't. Then pandemic condition, we must use herbal medicine. Urgent, but we have some research and article or to explanation. For example, in vitro research, preclinical or clinical trial So it's urgent. It's enough from me. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much for Ibu Endang Setiawati. So that's amazing closing statement. And well, ladies and gentlemen, so by the end of closing statement from Ibu Endang Setiawati, so this also end of this session, and this also the closing for the webinar today. So, but before I close this webinar session, I would like to say thank you one more time to Professor Wang, to Mr. Tengku Azlan Shah bin Tengku Muhammad, and Ibu Endang for the wonderful presentation and to be a great speaker for today's webinar. And ladies and gentlemen, dear webinar participant, so this is the end for the second international webinar series. And don't miss the next or the third international webinar series. Hopefully we can do in the next 2 weeks or maybe next month. So don't miss it in another topic. We always commitment to run the international webinar series and with the another topic, with the interesting another topic. So yeah, before we close this meeting, we will take a photo session together. Please all webinar in the session. Before you left, maybe you can turn on the camera. Well, we would like to take a photo together streamingly as our documentation. Please now, Avisor. Tengku Azlan Shah. Sir, you still join this webinar? Yes. Please, everyone, turn on the camera if you can. So we would like to have a photo for our documentation. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Freestyle now, please, for the last freestyle. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much, dear webinar participant. You are really, really wonderful. And don't forget to join one more time in the third international webinar series conducted by University of Muhammadiyah Kudus in collaborations with Training Health Center of Taiwan. Thank you very much. That's all from me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.